Good evening, I'm Robbie Alampay. The big stories tonight. Commuters taking the EDSA busway might soon get beep cards for free as its service provider pledges to distribute 125,000 cards without charge. Another immigration officer speaks on the supposed Pastillas scheme at the Bureau of Immigration. He points to former Ports Operation Chief Mark Mascareñas as the racket's leader. After fast-tracking the approval of the 2021 budget on second reading over at the lower house, Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano moves to suspend sessions until November 16. ABS-CBN returns to free TV via a blocktime deal with Zoe TV. And despite uncertainties over his condition, U.S. President Donald Trump is back at the White House, even removing his face mask to pose for pictures. The fate of the cashless payment scheme for EDSA buses is stuck behind a red light as transport officials scramble for options to offer beep cards for free. Gerard De La Peña with the big story.
With the use of beep cards no longer mandatory along the EDSA busway, commuters like Marisa can breathe a sigh of relief. She frequents Balintawak Market and says buying a prepaid card is an added burden as she earns just enough from selling food.
Masyadong mahal. Tapos ay makukwento ng iba sa akin, may daya daw yung 180, tapos 100 lang yung load. Hindi naman naman nagagamit kagad yan, tapos mawawalan pa.
Rodrigo from Bulacan feels the same way as he rarely goes to Manila.
Hindi naman pwedeng gamitin yung beep card na yun kung nasa Bulacan ako eh. Dito lang yun eh. Lugi ho. Useless yun, useless.
In his Monday night address, President Rodrigo Duterte called on the Transportation Department to give out beep cards for free.
Bakit pabayaran pa? We have been wasting so many billions to corruption. Tapos hindi maibigay.
He likewise hit the DOTR's failure to inform and reach out to poor Filipinos about the initiative, as well as its guidelines.
If that is how it is being implemented hurriedly, or it's or public interest that it be implemented kaagad, make provisions for these people.
The LTFRB admitted to falling short in its information drive for the new policy. The DOTR and the LTFRB are studying if they can subsidize the cards using their own budget. But they would prefer that this be funded by private companies. AF Payments Incorporated, the company behind beep cards, is now threshing out details to distribute 125,000 beep cards for free. They clarified in an interview with Radyo 5 that they do not profit from the cards.
Yung 80, wala din naman po kaming kinikita. It just covers our cost. Kulang pa nga po kasi po ang isang card po, pag ito total po natin lahat ng production cost with logistics, admin, 100 pesos po talaga ang nagagastos per card.
The DOTR said they were unaware of AF Payments' business model, which includes charging card fees and convenience fees upon reloading. The LTFRB said it is open to having other cashless payments providers to avoid monopoly in the service. They will release guidelines within the week for interested parties.
Definitely, ang isa sa mga nakalagay po doon ay card po ay free po to, lalo na po yung para po sa mga pasahero. Ito po yung directive po ng ating Pangulo na libre po yon.
While that's pending, passengers may pay for their fares either through beep cards or cash. The LTFRB will also look at the other companies that provide cashless payment solutions in other modes of public transportation, as some of them charge higher fees compared to beep. For News 5, Gerard De La Peña, We Are One News.
Online classes and work-from-home arrangements are now part of the new normal. But is the Philippines ready for an upgrade? The DICT is seeking a hike in their 2021 budget to address problems in digital infrastructure. JC Cosico has this report.
DICT Chief Gregorio Honasan has apologized for his earlier remark that the country's internet speed is, quote, not that bad. In Tuesday's Senate budget hearing, he conceded much is left to be desired in the country's internet speed.
The global surveys indicate that we are not doing that good yet, but we are not doing that bad. Nasa pagitna-gitna po tayo.
In a budget hearing at the lower house last month, Honasan said the country's average internet speed is at 3 to 7 Mbps. Not that bad, he said, compared to that of neighboring countries, a statement which drew backlash. A report of the World Bank and the National Economic and Development Authority stated that internet connectivity in the Philippines is relatively expensive but slow. The average mobile broadband speed in the country is at 16.76 Mbps, lower than the global average of 32.01 Mbps. While the country's 3G or 4G mobile average download speed is at 7 Mbps, way behind the ASEAN's average 13.26 Mbps. The National Telecommunications Commission said the difference lies in investments on ICT infrastructure. That's why the DICT is calling for a budget increase from the Budget Department approved allocation of 10 billion pesos, far below the DICT's proposed 46 billion peso budget for 2021. Around 20 billion pesos alone is needed for new normal programs such as the National Broadband Plan for faster internet speed and the Free Wi-Fi for All project, which they say is needed for geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas. To date, the country has at least 5,000 free Wi-Fi sites and the DICT targets to boost that to 27,000 before their term ends.
Isahan din pong paglatag doon sa mga free Wi-Fi sites, kailangan po ng additional 3.625. Lalo na sa panahon ng pandemya, marami pong gutom sa internet.
Senator Panfilo Lacson, who led the hearing, said the DBM had been indiscriminate in coming up with a budget for DICT. He promised that the Senate will augment the agency's budget.
Kasi ako, believer ako talaga sa ICT kasi ang daming pwedeng magawa pag efficient yung ating information communication technology.
The NTC also said incumbent players Globe and Smart will be pushed to spend more to improve their internet speed, as third telco Dito Telecommunity is committed to roll out internet speeds of up to 27 to 55 Mbps by July next year.
Si Globe po at si Smart naman ay siyempre po mapipilitan pong humabol. So that would be competition on the market.
For News 5, JC Cosico, we are One News.
Interior Secretary Eduardo Año is urging telcos to expedite the improvement of their services. That's after more than 1,100 telco permits had been approved for the construction of cell towers across the country. Año said 400 more are still pending. He notes that the application process was shortened to 16 days. Requirements have been made less stringent.
The world and the country have gone digital. So kailangan po talaga natin itong pag-layout ng mga towers because sa klase natin puro online classes na.
Senator Ralph Recto is calling out the Department of Health for letting around 2.2 billion pesos worth of medicine expire. According to the Commission on Audit's 2019 report, most of these medicines are for oral health. The COA also hinted that there may be an incident of pilferage in DOH warehouses, and it is recommending the installation of CCTV cameras. Recto recommends that guidelines be enumerated in the DOH 2021 budget to ensure that medicines reach patients. We'll go for a quick break. When the big story returns, more details emerge about the supposed Pastillas scheme as an immigration officer appears before the Senate to testify. And the lower house goes on break until November 16 after passing the budget on second reading. How will this affect the supposed term sharing deal? The details next. You're still watching The Big Story. I'm Robbie Alampay. Another immigration officer, a supposed member of the alleged Pastillas gang, emerged and testified in today's Senate hearing on the Pastillas scheme. In his confession, the whistleblower laid out more names involved in the crime, including their leader. Mean Los Baños tells us more.
This man holding envelopes allegedly containing money for members of the so-called Pastillas group was identified as Jeffrey Dale Ignacio or Boss Nieti. He appeared at the Senate hearing today and confessed that he was part of the infamous gang. Ignacio also confirmed that the brown envelopes in the picture indeed contained money.
Isa akong miyembro ng tinaguraang Pastillas group na gumagawa ng katawilaan sa hanay ng Bureau of Immigration.
Ignacio claimed foot soldiers like him received 5 to 20,000 pesos every week or every 2 weeks as long as they allowed the entry of foreign passengers included in the list given to them. He told the Senate that he first became part of the Pastillas group in 2017 when they lost their augmentation and overtime pay at the Immigration Department. The witness said he had financial problems then, so he was forced to join the illegal activity. He enumerated the names of alleged leaders in the Pastillas scheme led by Mark Red Marinas, who is the former Deputy Commissioner in the Bureau of Immigration. In a previous hearing, columnist Ramon Tulfo labeled Mark Red Marinas as a syndicate heir, succeeding Maynard Marinas, who was dubbed the syndicate godfather. Former Justice Secretary Aguirre, who appointed Red Marinas, denied being a protector in the scheme. He was also not named by Ignacio. Marinas failed to show up in today's hearing, but his lawyers represented him through online conference while at the NBI.
Appointed a very qualified person, the person I trusted.
Well,
Yun lang po ang reason on why I appointed him. I know him, I trust him, at naniniwala po ako sa kanyang kakayanan.
Ignacio is among the 19 immigration officers facing charges before the ombudsman, but their alleged bosses like Marinas were not included in the list of those charged by the NBI. Ignacio also told the Senate that Marinas also promised to help them as he is in contact with some people inside the office.
sabi pa ni Sir Red, sana daw matapos bago ang filing of candidacy. Pag manalo daw ang kabila, magkakaproblema kami.
The Senate decided to cite Marinas and other immigration officers in contempt for failing to attend today's hearing. Senator Bongo meanwhile said that he and President Duterte already found a way to reinstall the allowances of immigration officers and to increase their salaries. Reporting for News 5, Mean Los Baños, we are One News.
President Duterte vouched for Health Secretary Francisco Duque once again in his latest public address as the prosecution of top PhilHealth officials begins. In a speech Monday evening, the president said he sees no reason to charge Duque, who is facing mounting calls to resign amid the alleged multi-billion peso fraud in the state insurer. Justice Secretary Minardo Guevara views the president's statement as mere expression of trust, not a ticket to being absolved from possible charges. Guevara is confident that the president will let the legal process run its course. But Senator Ping Lacson is confused with what he says is the president's mixed signals. That's after Duterte gave the DOJ-led task force a free hand in its PhilHealth probe, while at the same time repeatedly making public his trust towards Duque. The House of Representatives has passed the proposed 4.5 trillion peso 2021 budget on second reading. This comes as Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano abruptly moved for its passage during the Environment Department's budget hearing. Cayetano earlier denied claims that he is holding the 2021 budget hostage to prevent his rival Marinduque Congressman Lord Alan Velasco from taking over the speakership.
Kung hostage ko po yung budget, I will now move to defer the budget and to take it up in November. If hostage ko yung budget. But I will prove to Congressman Velasco and his cohorts today that I am not hostaging the budget. Applying Section 55 of our rules, I move to terminate the period of debate of House Bill number 7727, otherwise known as the GAB. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Second, Mr. Speaker, second.
I object, Mr.
I second, Mr. Speaker.
There's a motion to terminate the consideration of House Bill number 7727 and let us approve it on second reading. By terminating the period.
Congress will miss its self-imposed deadline to pass the budget on third and final reading on October 14. They will take a break until November 16. Cayetano assured his fellow lawmakers that despite its swift passage, they will be transparent with the 2021 budget.
I will find a way to present the budget to you na walang taguan. Nakakatawa naman itong mga kasama natin, pati si former Deputy Speaker Mikey Romero. Pasalamat ng pasalamat sa akin na sobra-sobra daw binigay ko sa party list. 2 Deputy Speaker lang hiningi sa akin, binigay ko 4. Sabi niya sa akin, bro, ilagay mo lang lahat sila, wag nang ako. Nung nalagay na silang lahat, bro, pagbigyan mo naman ako, para nandyan din ako. Pinakiusapan ko siya.
In a statement, Cayetano's rival, Congressman Lord Alan Velasco, denounced the actions of the Speaker and his allies. He says he wants them to be held accountable for railroading the budget without the proper process and for a flawed altering of the approved calendar of Congress. Velasco says these acts manifest Cayetano's extreme desire to hold on to power. And these are the other big stories today. Headline inflation eased to 2.3% in September from 2.4% in August. That, however, is a markup from last year's 0.9% inflation during the same month. Year-to-date, inflation is already at 2.5%, well within the BSP's 2 to 4% full-year target. Unemployment, however, remains high, but it has declined in September, at least according to the latest SWS survey. Joblessness saw a 6-point drop to 39.5%, or at least 23.7 million Filipinos. 2 out of 5 of those actually lost their source of income during the pandemic, says the report. Visayas is bucking the decline in unemployment. Joblessness in the region rose to 52%. And ABS-CBN is making its free TV comeback via a blocktime deal with Zoe Network. In line with this, Zoe Channel 11 has rebranded itself to A2Z. Starting October 1, some of ABS-CBN's entertainment shows and movies will be broadcast on A2Z Channel 11. Channel 11 will also air programs from licensors like Christian Broadcasting Network and Knowledge Channel. Let's pause for a quick break. When the big story returns, authorities are urging local governments to modify rules on videoke and other noisy activities as distance learning starts. And an unmasked Trump poses for photos in his White House comeback after seeking treatment for COVID-19. The details next. You're still watching The Big Story. I'm Robbie Alampay. Barangay officials and the police are taking things into their own hands to ensure what they say should be a peaceful and conducive environment for distance learning. Marlene Alcaide tells us more.
Since the start of online classes on Monday, officials of Barangay 82 District 1 in Tondo, Manila have been reminding residents to stay indoors and avoid playing loud music. Barangay Chairman Alexander Espinosa wants to ensure a conducive environment for online classes.
Mga napapatutog ng mga sound, mga videoke, mga computer, bawal ho talaga yan. Kung maaari po, kayo po, sumunod. Para na rin po sa ating mga kabataan.
Parents say kids get easily distracted whenever neighbors' children are playing outside or if there's loud music.
Kasi po, syempre, yung focus ng bata nawawala. Lalo na nakafocus sila sa tablet, tapos pag may naririnig silang mga nag-iingay sa labas, syempre napupunta yung focus nila sa mga naglalaro.
The Philippine National Police urged LGUs to create or modify existing ordinances against videoke and other noisy activities as online classes and modular learning turn every barangay into a big learning space. The PNP also reminded the public that some students are having difficulties adjusting to the new normal and the least that they could do is avoid unnecessary noise.
The directives from Camp Crame is to have close coordination with the barangay to check na dapat hindi maingay. Walang mga malalaking activities na malalapit sa mga bahay para po hindi madisturbo.
For complaints, the public may reach the PNP and the JTF COVID Shield through the following hotline numbers. They also encourage the public to send pictures or videos as proof against violators. For News 5, Marlene Alcaide, we are One News.
With things still uncertain due to the pandemic, the Education Department hopes to reform the country's educational system under the new normal. In an interview with One News Agenda, DepEd Undersecretary Annalyn Sevilla said they want to further promote online schooling in the next 5 years. Sevilla said DepEd is now in talks with the DICT and PCOO to strengthen the country's communication channels. The agency is also in talks with NEDA and the DBM for financial support. DepEd said it will seek foreign aid if necessary.
Talagang we really have to change the way we do schooling right now. At dito sa future schooling na bill ay nakapasok na dito yung mga infrastructure and of course yung pati yung mga soft components ng future schools.
In the NBA, after stealing a victory in Game 3 of the NBA Finals, Miami Heat coach Erik Spoelstra admits facing the Los Angeles Lakers is no easy feat. With the Lakers' first final appearance in 10 years and LeBron James hungry for a championship, Spoelstra said they have to push themselves to their limits to come out of the series alive. It's no help that the Lakers have a defensive weapon in Anthony Davis. Spoelstra acknowledges that they are going against a team with a lot of role players that can produce even without James and Davis.
We're facing a great team, and what we're trying to accomplish this year is extremely tough. It's challenging. This Laker team presents a way different challenge than who we faced so far in the playoffs, and you have to do things above and beyond, and that's what the competition brought out of us.
You can catch more of Erik Spoelstra on NBA Hype this Saturday at 7 p.m. on NBA TV Philippines, Channel 262 for HD, Channel 96 for SD on Signal TV. Viva Entertainment joins forces with TV5 for the soon-to-air reality show Masked Singer Pilipinas through Signal TV's production arm, Sari Sari Channel. In a virtual press conference earlier today, celebrity judge Aga Mulak said the launch of the TV show should signal unity among the major TV networks. Masked Singer Pilipinas will start airing October 24 on TV5. Diva 5 will also release other entertainment shows like Bella Bandida starring Riza Senon and the horror special Kagat ng Dilim featuring other Viva celebrities.
If
naihiwalay din eh. May kapuso, may kapamilya, may kapatid, may ganyan. Lahat tayo nasa entertainment industry, sama-sama tayo lahat nagtatrabaho. Mas gaganda, mas magiging masaya ang publiko kung hindi magkakahiwalay.
After a brief stay at a military medical center due to COVID-19, U.S. President Donald Trump is now back at the White House. Upon returning to a White House that is now facing a wave of infections, Trump removed his protective face mask to pose for pictures. Prior to being discharged, the president had tweeted, urging Americans not to be afraid of COVID and to not let it dominate their lives. The White House has yet to release information on Trump's test results. His camp says he intends to push through with his second presidential debate against Joe Biden on October 15 in Miami. Distancing protocols in the entertainment business should not be taken lightly, and so luchadores in Mexico are back in business, but on the safe side. How? Well, wrestlers have taken their show outdoors in compliance with health protocols, avoiding crowded spaces. Not only that, fans can watch the Lucha Libre shows from the safety of their own cars, similar to a drive-in in cinema. Lucha Libre is one of Mexico's most popular sports and tourist attractions, and with the pandemic still around, wrestlers and fans alike have found a new way to have a good time without compromising health. And that wraps up today's big story. Catch us again tomorrow, 8 p.m. on Signal Channels 8 and 250. Please like our Facebook page, One News. For more in-depth analysis, visit our webpage, onenews.ph. I'm Robbie Alampay. We are One News. Good evening.